Welcome back to Open Window Politics. I'm going to be going through my latest prediction for the 2024 presidential election. I'm recording this hours before the first presidential debate of 2024, and I will be giving my impressions on how I think that the debate may impact the overall election landscape. So we'll get started off by characterizing each of these swing states. So we will first start out with the state of Nevada. Things are looking pretty good for the Trump campaign in much of the Sun Belt, really. I do think that there's a good chance that Trump is able to win Nevada. I do think it'll be by a small margin. Let's add a tilt characterization. So for now, I'm going to give it a tilt to the Republican candidate, in this case Donald Trump, for the state of Nevada. And then we get to the state of Arizona. Arizona is going to be a little bit more interesting because I believe both Nevada and Arizona will have abortion referendums on the ballot, and that may shake things up a little bit, and we'll see what happens. But I think it's more likely that Arizona goes to the Biden campaign than it is for Nevada, which is a little strange and interesting. But for now, things are looking pretty good for the Trump campaign in the state of Arizona. So we're going to narrowly give the state to Trump, although it is probably one of two that I could see flipping from my original prediction, for today. But we'll get to the other states, and then the state of Georgia. Georgia, the Biden campaign is putting in quite a bit of work into the state to try to be able to win the state again in 2024. It's going to be an uphill battle for sure. The state has in general, the United States has less support for the Biden campaign than it did in 2020, at least if the election were to be held today. Less overall enthusiasm and support for the Democratic candidate. So I do think it's going to be pretty hard to win the state of Georgia, so I'm going to give it narrowly to the Trump campaign. Could maybe even seeing it being a lean state, but for now we'll just go with tilt for the Republican Party. And that brings us to 268 electoral college votes for Trump to 226 for the Biden campaign. So in the state of Wisconsin, I think Wisconsin is going to be close, but I am going to narrowly give it to the Biden campaign. He's doing all right in the polls. Some of the polls have Trump up, some of them have Biden up, but it's going to be a very close state. This state and Arizona, I could easily see flipping. I could see Arizona becoming a tilt blue state, while Wisconsin becomes tilt red. They are worth roughly the same amount of electoral college votes, so each state can kind of negate the other. But for now, we'll give the state of Wisconsin. Things seem to be looking better for Biden in the Rust Belt than it does in the Sun Belt. So we'll give the state of Wisconsin to the Biden campaign, resulting in 236 electoral college votes for the Biden campaign to 268 electoral college votes for the Republican Trump campaign. So now we will characterize the state of Michigan. Michigan is definitely going to be a swing state, like all these have been. It's going to be close. I do think on the Senate level, it's probably going to go to the Democrats by around 3 points. Things are looking pretty good for the Democratic candidate on the Senate level. However, on the presidential level, things might be a little more interesting. We could see maybe if the Senate candidate is able to push Biden over the top, but at the moment, I don't see it as a likely possibility. Biden got a lot of uncommitted votes here in the Democratic primary, which is going to help, isn't going to help his campaign, and it's probably going to possibly be the reason Trump is able to win the state of Michigan. Just as there is less enthusiasm for the Biden campaign in the state of Michigan. So right now we're going to characterize that as tilt Republican. Then we finally get to the state of Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania is going to be close. It's in 2022, the Senate seat flipped to the Democratic Party, and they elected the governor by a pretty wide margin, the Democratic governor. So right now I don't see this state going too far to the right, but I do think it's going to be close. Right now I'm going to characterize it as tilt blue. The polls generally have Trump up by a little bit, but I think there's other factors at play that are going to help carry Biden. It's also being his home state in Pennsylvania, which will help carry him across the finish line maybe. But right now, this is the projection I give, and this, like I mentioned earlier, this is recorded hours before the presidential debate, the first one in the 2024 presidential cycle. So we'll see how things can shape that up. I do think that should Biden do well, because right now Biden is kind of, like my electoral college map predicts, he's definitely the underdog right now. He isn't looking too good in the polls in many places and isn't doing too well in the Sun Belt. So if Biden is able to have a strong performance during the debate, which he may or may not, we'll have to see what happens. But I do think that may be enough to help flip one or two of these states may, or at least have an impact, along with other considerations, along with the guilty verdict for Trump and so many other characteristics that could help the Biden campaign be able to flip one or two of these states. And as a result, win the presidency. If he's able to just flip Michigan, he gets to 270 electoral college votes, and right now I don't project that he will. But if he's able to get some more enthusiasm behind his campaign, it may be enough to win the state of Michigan, and that would help Biden reach the magic 270 electoral college votes. But for now, we have 255 for the Democratic campaign to 283 for the Republican campaign, in this case Trump. Feel free to let me know if you have any questions about my prediction. Feel free to let me know if you disagree or agree. I'd love to hear your input in the comments. And thanks. Don't forget to like and subscribe.